Today for Quick Tip Tuesday, we're going to talk about one of the training programs we like to use in the off-season, Hypertrophy Clusters. For this, we talked about a few weeks ago in our Do I Need to Shut Down series. We talked specifically about training programs or what to do in the weight room when you're not throwing. We talked about adding volume. This is one of our favorite programs to add volume to our athletes' workouts. So for this particular one, it has 3 different phases. We're going to focus just on phase 1 today, or talk about phase 1 today, and then mention the other 2 phases if you have that much time. But each one is either 2 or 3 weeks. So the first phase is 3 weeks. It is 8 sets, and we're doing 5 reps for each set. That's the main exercise, so we demonstrate the trap bar deadlift today for that. And then you're taking 45 to 60 seconds rest in between each set. So, for example, for the very first exercise we would go through a dynamic warm-up. We would do probably some type of med ball throw or jump. It's kind of like a CNS primer. And after we finished that warm-up series, when we got into the meat and potatoes of the lift, we're going to do trap bar deadlift today for a lower body day. So I would set up my weights, whatever I choose to start with. I would do the 5 reps, set it down, and then just simply rest for about 45 seconds. We usually don't add in any kind of filler or mobility exercise with this because it is such a short rest period. We want to make sure the guys are getting underneath the bar right away and not trying to do like a 90-90 hip switch or something and then taking a minute and a half, even if they're just going back and forth. So for lower body exercises, the recommended protocol is about 60 seconds break there. So again, 45 to 60 seconds for the main lift. After all those reps and sets are completed, so that would be 8 by 5 today, 8 sets, 5 reps, we would go to something, an auxiliary exercise. And for these, we're going to be doing 3 or 4 sets, somewhere between 8, 10 to 20 reps per set, depending on the nature. If we're doing something like a Nordic hamstring curl, we're going to be doing more of an eccentric focus. So just with time under tension, we're going to shorten the number of reps that we have because of the added time under tension of each rep. So for this, we would probably do something like 3 sets of 8. So when we do the Nordic, I'm getting underneath the bar, slowly lowering myself down, catching myself, pushing myself as low as possible, pulling myself up, and again, trying to control ourselves as much as possible on the way down. We would do 8 of those. We would have some type of filler exercise with that. So what I mean by that, that might be our B1, and we have a B2 with it to kind of superset, where we would be doing some type of posterior shoulder exercise, or maybe if they're lacking hip internal rotation, some type of in-range hold for internal rotation of the hips. Something of that sort, where we're kind of getting some extra work in during a rest break, and those rests are usually 90 seconds to 2 minutes. So after we finish up that set, we would continue to reverse lunges, just basic reverse lunge here, not really focused on eccentric or isometric portion of this, just a normal rep. So down, tap the knee to the ground, back up. This one we would increase the reps on even more than the other ones. So we're looking at somewhere between probably 10 to 15 reps each side for that. And we would do 3 to 4 sets of that. Again, this is going to be somewhere between 90 seconds to 2 minutes of rest, and we would throw in another filler exercise or superset exercise, like an external rotation, so that the athlete has something to do between the sets and isn't just sitting still for that 2 minutes, kind of wasting time for that particular period. For then, we might finish with something that's a little bit more of a body weight exercise. One thing we like a lot is to get a little extra hamstring work. It's something like a single leg buck with a medicine ball. So our heels on the ball, doing a hip thrust from this position, really driving the hip up as high as we can. We feel a ton of hamstring contraction in there. And after all the other volume, it's a little bit safer. They're on their back. They're not going to have any weight in their hands or be at risk of hurting themselves after all of the other exercises that they're doing, because they're going to be pretty fatigued. So again, this would be a 3 sets of somewhere probably between 12 to 15 reps per side there. And again, we would have possibly another filler or superset with that as well. Maybe grip strength or something, tricep, bicep burnout is another option that we might throw in during the shutdown period. So that just gives you an idea about how much volume we would try to get done. It is a lot, and like I said, we would not program this any other time of the year, especially when they have to go do throwing or have to have done throwing before and then come in here, or when they're coming to or going to a practice at some point. This is something where we want to make sure that 99% of the training economy for the day is done in here, and there's not a lot of external factors that play into it, so that way we can really hammer them hard. But their CNS is going to take a big hit after doing this from the weight of the 40 reps of either a deadlift, a squat, or a bench press. That's going to be really taxing on their system. And then obviously with all the auxiliary reps, that adds up for quite a few for the day. So make sure you execute something like this in the off season, November, December, sometimes January, great time to do it. Gives you guys a chance to get a different training stimulus, more volume, add some of that mass, and it keeps them moving in an athletic manner, where they're not just building muscle in a poor way that restricts movement.